I'm loving Colombia. My wife's loving Colombia.
Con el micrófono tenemos talento y aquí cantamos con todo el sentimiento.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Faith and Familia. We're here with another episode. We're so excited you're here. I'm with my wife. She's going to ask the first question, and we're going to get it started. Let's go.
All right, babe. So why did we choose Colombia?
Well, there's various reasons we chose Colombia. One, because God called us here. I think one of the special things about being very open to the Lord and listening for God is that we have the opportunity to go different places and hear Him speak through other people. We were in Oklahoma City months ago, and it was like midsummer, right?
Yes.
And we went out to Oklahoma City, had a great time. I'm talking a phenomenal time. Was with a gentleman from the Wellspring, and the Wellspring is basically a group of entrepreneurs that get together and they talk business, but business in light of the kingdom. And there was a gentleman named Bill Hyde that's been an amazing mentor of us for a long time, began to speak into our life, and he spoke into our family and many other families there. And I just remember being so impacted when we were hanging out at the table, because we were listening and hearing about the beauty of family, family legacy, family values, family vision. And it was just incredible hearing all those things, but it was heart-wrenching knowing that we didn't have all those things in place. We didn't know our family values. We had somewhat family values written on our wall, but it was a lot. Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily something
like
we're living out.
Niche, like, okay, this is what we're all about.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that going to that helped us kind of condense it and summarize just really like who are we as the Copelands in the kingdom of God? What do we value as a family?
But yeah, at the end of the day, just as you're saying, we narrowed down to several things. Faith being the cornerstone of everything that we do, everything that we are. Matter of fact, the cornerstone of this channel is mentioned. But also family, familia. What is family? What is really living a life where we're allowing the foundation of our family to be lived out through our faith so it can flourish? We want a family that flourishes. How do we do that? And Bill began to explain, you have to have a mission. You have to have a pointed direction that your family's going together, united as one, just as the family of God is on mission and we move together as a family inside our house. Who are we if we don't have our family in one accord moving together? And I don't feel like we're doing that the best this past season whenever we're in the rat race of America. So one of the big reasons, one of the big whys is that, one, God called us. Two, we needed to slow down, right?
Right, yeah.
Number three, I would say is adventure, but I never had this in mind. I was never an adventurous person, but by the grace of God, my wife was able to really give me the joy that I needed to walk in this adventurous nature, be wild at heart. Right, so thank you, Boo. And I want you to elaborate a little bit on what sort of spurred your adventure attitude coming out of Puerto Rico, moving into Florida, and then talk through what are the last two values.
What spurred my adventure?
Yeah, like what made you adventurous? Were you always adventurous? Was it after Christ?
I feel like deep down inside of me, there was always this adventurous side of me where I wanted to explore new places, visit new places, and just to visit places that people don't often go to and that have never discovered. And I feel like sometimes that discovering something new and seeing a new place, a place where my eyes have never seen, is always like something that drives me to adventure. I love nature and always have, growing up in Puerto Rico, the beaches and just the forest and all that stuff, is the rivers. It's just always been something that's been a part of me. And so moving out of Puerto Rico to the U.S. Really like sparked even more a desire to visit new places, see new things, and that sort of thing. Yeah. But the last two, what's the last two?
The last two, so integrity is one.
Integrity, yes.
Integrity is being the same person at 2 p.m. that you are at 2 a.m., a person of character, a person who is integrated. He's one. Like, therefore, we're not going to preach something and not live it. And if we do, we're going to pray the grace of God to help transform us and change us if we're living hypocritically. We want to live a life that is of course structured, has discipline, but deep within us, our devotion to Jesus helps us live out, not out of duty, but out of delight, who we are in him.
Right. And then the last one is evangelism.
And evangelism, that's one of my favorite. It is my favorite. You can catch us out sharing Jesus like literally everywhere.
Yeah, I think
every day.
Every day, yeah. So evangelism is, I think, almost like one of the main things, because we are called to reach people for Jesus, but also it's not something that we do as a duty. It's just a desire. It's a desire of the Holy Spirit to minister to other people, to encounter other people, and so us being open and available to do that has been like a blessing here. Ever since we came to Colombia, like the first Uber, I don't even know. Every time we get in a different Uber, there's somebody that has to say something about God, or it's like it's so easy to talk about God and Jesus in all these Uber drives that we've been taking.
Absolutely.
So that's been really, really cool to see, which I feel like in America I wouldn't been able to open up as easy, and I don't know if it's maybe is a cultural thing. Because I'm Hispanic and I can kind of connect with, Spanish is my first language. I can connect with them a little bit better. But it's been really cool to be able to talk to people just easily like that about the Lord. And so here's our little boy.
Here's Zakai here. He came at a great time so you guys could see him, and he's the only one at the house right now out of the kids outside of Emmanuel. And he's been doing such a good job as a young boy hanging out here. And Niñera is also here, our Niñera. Tú eres en la cocinera. See, I'm learning all the Spanish words, y'all, so just hang with me. But yeah, again, like one thing that's special about being here is that there's so much opportunity. It's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. I mean, super biodiverse, second biodiverse country on the planet. But there's also, just the culture is amazing, but nightlife is dark. There's areas where prostitution is 100% legal here. Like, I mean, there's a dim side of this country and nation. However, but we believe that the Lord wants us to bring light, and that's why we're here, to encourage folks into Christ. And it's the land of eternal springs, right? The city of eternal springs.
Yeah, where the weather is perfect. It feels like spring all the time because it's such a great weather. It's always breezy and cool. These past few days have been warmer than usual, hot, but normally it's spring feel, like
70
breezy,
to 80 degrees.
Windy. It's just really cool weather. There's no mosquito. Well, there is mosquitoes, but I haven't seen
in the mountains, you may get them. But here's one last thing that you were talking about with evangelism that we'll share is that when we go in the Ubers, we see it as an opportunity to meet the Samaritan woman at the well. Of course, they're showing up to drive their cars and drive their Ubers and do their work, and they do it so well. But it's an opportunity for us to bring them the living well, Jesus, to that vehicle. But we've already been meeting some believers. Maybe 1 out of 20 cars is someone who follows Christ genuinely. So it's been amazing. We've been on like 100 Ubers already in 2 weeks.
I don't even know. We've been on Uber crazy. Every 5 minutes we're on an Uber. So that's been something that's been different. We're so used to just driving our own vehicles to different places. And so transitioning into not being dependent on our own vehicle and just easily just getting in our car and leaving. That's something that it's like, okay, it's a bit more like there's more simplicity in that. Like it's more like, okay, it's more humbling. And having to depend on another driver to take you to places. And so that's been really cool, I guess, that we're learning. Being patient, right? So waiting for your ride to get here. And then you don't know who you're getting in the car with either at the beginning. And you're just praying. It's like faith. Like every day that we wake up is like a step of faith. Every morning is a new step of faith. Like, okay, like I'm just gonna walk by faith and just really pray and ask God to order our steps for the day ahead and His protection. But it's been really cool to just really meet new people on the Ubers. I've heard so many different testimonies and so many different stories of women and relationships and why, even with childbearing, like why they have children now and wouldn't want to have any more children in the future. And some of these conversations that I've had with women have kind of like broken my heart, because it's like, wow, like sin is really a reality, like worldwide, and how much that can affect someone else's choice, the decision to make a choice for for their future and things like that.
Absolutely.
But it's really beautiful here. The food is good. The people are so nice. Yeah, it's very family oriented.
Slower.
Caring, and it's a slower pace. Like it's 10 times, like so much slower paced here than it is in America. Here, if you walk to a place and just order coffee, we're used to just walking in and saying, I just want iced latte with oat milk. That's it, right? Okay, you pay and you just wait for your drink and you leave. No, here you literally go and they're like, be ready to have like 30 extra minutes, because they're gonna want you to sit down, get the menu, order your coffee, and then they'll make it, and then they'll bring your drink out, and then you just don't know when you're gonna leave, because it's just very slow paced. There's no rush. It's not like I gotta go. It's not that anxiety of like I have to leave now, I gotta go now.
Exactly.
And I feel like sometimes, like even I've noticed with Rashawn, like he'll be like he'll have that little tendency where he's so used to like go that when we're slow, his American side of like hustle starts to creep in.
The next thing.
Exactly. And here is you can't have that expectation. You have to really
not at all.
Just program. You just get used to that new rhythm. And the stores here open late.
Oh yeah.
Like 10 in the morning. We're sitting at a coffee shop, and at 10 o'clock they were just now opening like stores and things on the street.
Which is amazing. And let's talk really quick about having kids here. What has your sort of perspective been as far as Colombianos with children, and do they are they really helpful? Like, do they care about you and your kids and things like that?
Oh, like the people?
Yeah. Receptivity to children.
Yes. Yeah, here they love children. I know everywhere I've been with, we've gone to so many places, many malls, centros comerciales, and every time they see our big family anywhere, they're like, whoa, like they're just, their eyes are just amazed. And every time I tell them in the Uber we have 5 kids, they're like about to have like a stroke or something. They're
These
just
are all y'all?
have a heart attack. Yeah. Because they can't believe that a young couple has 5 children. Like and they keep saying that it's so rare to see big families, and how this generation has just been like, mostly families here have 1 kid to 2 kids. That's it. And so hearing that somebody has 5 kids, it's like mind blowing to them. It's a rare species. We're rare here.
It's giving us a lot of favor though. It's crazy.
So people love children here. They're very caring, especially with Emmanuel. They're always like, I have a lot of elderly people come to me with Emmanuel, and they just love on him. But
another thing that I love so much is even our flight when we were getting ready. And it was just a hassle. We had maybe 7-8 bags minimum at the airport, and
5 kids.
So stressed out because we had our passports and we had to fill out this ID thing before we even got to, Colombia. So it was just a lot to, And it was a beautiful, beautiful Colombian family. Like out of nowhere, there was like, we understand what you guys are going through, and literally took our cell phones, started filling out stuff for us. That's how kind and generous they are. They are super intentional about making sure that you're good, making sure that you're taken care of. It's such a selfless place. Even some of the experience I've had on the streets has been incredible. So
it's really,
but of course it has its problems and cons. And I think one of the big things that has nagged me, and you can share some of the negatives too, but when you're somewhere, we were just at a bakery, a Pan, not too long ago, a panaderia. and we're having a good little midday snack, and a guy comes in, and I guess he was watching me because the bank was across the street, and we had just left the bank, got some money, went to the bakery, and sat down. We literally I wasn't even sat down yet, and he walks up to me, "Hey, you got some, I don't know what he was saying, some money, this and that."
Something.
And then because he was talking so furiously, just trying to get my attention and to get in my pockets, he spit. And pieces of it landed on my face, on the table. It was just terrible. I was like, he is so bold. If people would share the gospel like they want and want to receive change, like if people would ask for change through the cross as much as they want to receive change here, it'll be transformed.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I get it though, because a lot of individuals are struggling here, and I get that. And we want to be a generous family that gives, but I want to definitely be led by the Holy Spirit and give, not because I feel forced, but because God has compelled me to give. I think we've been pretty generous, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was the third day maybe that we were here in Colombia. We visited this park very close to our apartment Airbnb we were staying at, and this family, I started talking to this lady. She's bilingual. She used to live in the U.S. too, but she's mainly Colombian. And she had a bunch of toys, and my boys were in the playground, and our boys had no toys. They have nothing because we came with
just
nothing.
got there.
And the boys are wanting to play with their toys, and so the lady was like, "Yeah, they can play with it. We're very welcoming. They can play with our toys and this, that." And so I started talking to her, and she started sharing about God and like her testimony and her daughter. And so we had a powerful encounter there where the Lord was really moving in our conversation. And then I explained to her, because she was about to leave, that our boys didn't have any toys, and the transition has been kind of hard for them because they're just now in a different country and they're missing their old stuff. And she generously just lets the boys pick whatever toys they want from her bucket of toys. And the boys were just so happy.
They're so happy. They still play with those toys.
Yeah, they were able to get those toys and all kind of cards and blocks, and yeah, it's just the generosity of the people here that they don't hold on to things too tightly, and that really blessed us too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely, and I love that. And here's the last part of the video, because we don't want this to go too long, but the last part of the video, let's talk about some of the things we talked about earlier. What do you sense as far as the difference from America and also Colombia when it comes to identity, and really just let's talk into some of the things we talked into earlier. One thing that we sense here, which is special, because I feel like God is wanting to reveal himself more so people can know who they are in him, because a lot of people depend so much on their looks, their outward appearance, which is fine. Like, we want to glorify God in every way, right? But this is the thing. Cosmetic surgery is at an all-time high here, and you have also things going on where you can have the nicest clothes, and there's these nice markets where Jordans and Nikes and all this different fashion stuff. And I get it. And a lot of folks depend more on some of those outward things than what they would do on, their own spiritual walk and where they are in their walk with God. And I feel like it's an opportunity for us to really help usher people into who they are created to be. Like, they're not to be identified by what they have or what they do in life, but who they are in Christ. And I feel like that's going to be a special call that God has for us, is to help usher people into the presence of God so they can truly know their identity. We've seen transgenders and all type of folks all over the city already.
Cosmetic surgery.
Cosmetic surgery is huge here.
Yeah.
Prostitution is huge here.
But still, we want them to know that that those things don't bring joy or happiness, right? Like, the outward things, the things that we possess, the materialism may satisfy for a moment, but it's always a deeper issue going in the heart when it comes to all of that, like of how you look in the outside, what you buy, what brand is it, all those things. It's more deeper. It's an identity problem and a deeper issue of the heart. But
that's right.
the Lord is near to those people, and He's not
Yeah.
far from them, and that's why.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do, is to just really show Christ to other people, because we were once there. We
Yeah.
were once dependent on the things that were brand or how we looked in our the
Yeah.
outside and all of those things.
But in the old Rashawn, I'm sure the old Denise would have loved to been here doing our thing, nightclubs, partying, drinking, smoking. I'm sure we would have loved to been here, but we're dead. We're dead. That guy is dead, right? And it's now Christ that live in us. And the life that we now live is by faith in the Son of God, who loved us and gave himself up for us. So we want to give ourselves away for him. And I'm so thankful I get to do it with you. Hey, we can raise up world changers to do the same. So
our boys, yeah.
Boys. Well, guys, we love y'all. What can they look forward to in the future coming weeks? What kind of content will you be delivering? Not me in it, not the kids in it, in which I know we'll do a lot of content, and our hope is to get the family in most of the content. But what kind of content are you going to do by yourself to speak into moms in this next season? And I'll share a little bit about what they can expect.
I do want to share one more thing before I tap into that, because when we spoke about it being Colombia being a place very family oriented, like I mean we're really talking about like having nannies, having someone that can clean and cook at a very like affordable price, and that's not been something that it's been lacking in America, because everything is so expensive, and to find somebody to watch your kid is so hard. To have family that really is close to you is really hard, because it's, especially for families that don't have like relatives nearby, having someone that's be willing to cook for you for your entire family is a blessing. So I very much appreciate that the Lord has provided a way for us to have these people in our lives, because it's not just they're doing something for us, but
they're pouring into us,
but we get to pour into them, and then we receive like God's blessing through from them to us.
Then we give
by
it right
helping
back.
us and nourishing our family, and they get to use their giftings and their skills of how God has equipped them and shaped them. So that's something that I'm very thankful for, because I can't do it all. As much as I would want to, I just can't do it all. Like with the kids, and then doing all the other things that go with just running a house and all that stuff. But yeah, so as far as content goes, I don't know. I'm still thinking about that, and if you have any suggestions, I can talk about
Put
that.
in the comments. What would you like to hear from Denise specifically?
You can just comment, but maybe more mothering, just parenting the kids, and education. And I really have a heart for coffee, so that's something that I will be talking on later as I start digging into the coffee world and taking barista classes and all that. So
I'm excited.
There's a lot of things that we can all look forward to, and I'm excited for it.
Awesome. And on my end, I'll be in the streets, in the streets, having encounters with different people, hearing their stories, and just allowing God to, use us out here. So guys, we love you guys. We thank you guys. Subscribe, rate, review, and also write in the comments. What would you love to see us do out here in Colombia? And ways, I don't see a lot of channels out here. Faith Forward, 1, and Family Forward, 2, going out with their families, doing a YouTube channel. It's a lot of solo young women and men or couples that are doing things. Not a lot of children, not a lot of families. So we're excited to bring that to Medellin, and looking forward to being all throughout Colombia, all Latin America, bringing the goodness of God to the world so they can experience him in a new way. Let's go. We love y'all. Peace.